Okay, now we know the wagon's roughly 119-inch wheelbase. So now I set that 90 up to help me find the middle of this thing. I end up finding a good measurement pretty much between right here and the center, actually this part of the housing, because it's easiest to measure. So I just went from here to here on both sides, get me in the ballpark, certainly within any adjustment I would have with the forelink. You know, make up your bracket, and then I can put it at the right length after I get my rear end in the right spot and my bracket on the back lined up. Then I can put my bar in of whatever length, and then figure out how that goes up behind the frame. And I'm gonna run some cross pieces on the frame through that L-shaped bracket right there. Yeah, so a little bit of a low prep, no prep bracket kind of thing, like street car. Yeah, should work out. Alright, we're going to drill this set of plates. Now it's all shaped up. And I just take a piece of clay and a nail. I've had this for about 20 years. And squish it on the end of my drill bit. And just make sure I don't have this thing cranked up. Not too bad. And I just use my ruler and make it a nice point. Then you just touch the side of the nail, and then you can find your spot, center. You just come down, and get lined up with your hole from both sides. Like check it from that side, check it from that side. Sneak up on it a little bit. And, I look like I'm in the center of my stamping. Cool with that. Starting to look like a whole deal under here now. But what we're trying to do is get our bracket in the right position, our rear end with the pinion angle correct, and then the spacing on the tire to the side so we can set these brackets finally. So we gotta start somewhere. So yeah, we made these gaps the same on both sides. Got the rear end centered in there. And we got a heim on the bottom, on the top, and then 2 shock mount bolts in it from the back, and then that'll help me set the angle on that bracket. But I want to get the pinion angle right first, so I set it up there with the drive shaft halfway, you know, not perfect, but it's up in there. It's a little high. I was just checking for drive shaft clearance and everything else. Run into something, so we put that one there from the brake rotor over. We did the same thing over here, but I didn't end up with as much room in between where my finger is between the frame and this. And I don't know if the back of this frame is slightly different because of the gas tank or what, but I got to make sure this thing's in the center of something. So I am going to go up front on the car and go from ball joint to ball joint, and then put a pin in the cross member, maybe, or something that hangs down below the transmission up there, tranny pan. so that I can go triangulate it and see if I can't make it even and get a better number, which I probably should have done initially, but I was just wondering how square the car was. And yeah, unfortunately I tacked that bracket on, so I'm gonna have to cut that off, but no big deal. There's just like 3 tacks. And man, I wish I would have done this side first, I suppose. That's what I'm doing right now, is I got this string right here going all the way down to there, which is centered between the 2 ball joints. So I'm just checking where it is landing on this hole. Like that, so at the front edge of the hole, I put a little black mark. So like this one, we're looking at the hole kind of the same. The black at the front of the hole. And the thing is that when I checked it, I got 2 extra inches between here and here. So that means I need to slide the rear end over that way. I need to leave the brackets roughly where they're at, and I need to take this whole rear end and slide it that way 1 inch. And yeah, that should be better. That'll center the track widths with the front tires, and then also center the rear end on the brackets. Got the rear end pulled back out. We got our brackets, as well as somebody doing it their first time could get it. And well, I'm not gonna say that. I suppose if you were you know, working on the floor here, a little wild, one good arm. But so we're just gonna, we got all the room under here now. We're just gonna weld those bars in real good, and then we'll put the rear end back in and then get up there. And then while I got this out too though, I'll put the shock mount across the top. So there's gonna be another cross member up there that goes in, and I'll finish welding all that good stuff up. It turned out pretty good. Here is the rear end all put in. I don't know if this light is making this better or worse. We got the shocks. We just got to get the brake calipers mounted on the rear end housing. We're good. We got the Watts link in. This is our lower bar on this side, and our upper link on that side. Let me see, where is that thing? Right there. So that comes over, comes down. That keeps it centered, no matter if it goes up or down. So we'll check it all out here for any binding. The shocks are in. We're gonna try, I got a 305 on this side and a 300-pound spring on that side. Start out with those. Hopefully have the shocks rebuilt in a 50-50 configuration to get through this summer, until I can afford some adjustables, and should be fun. But we'll lower it here in a minute and check for any anomalies in the geometry. Got a big bump in the frame around where the spring pocket used to be, and then if I do that and even it up, I gain some, but I could probably gain ½ an inch really easy. Get some clearance for my tire.